Our next caller is Lindsay from New Jersey.
Hey, Lindsay, how can we help you?
Hey guys, thanks for taking my call. My question is it possible to gain muscle when you're on a diet with restricted protein intake? So to give you a little bit of a background, I want to gain 10 pounds of muscle. I'm pretty lean. I have a difficult time gaining weight and maintaining it. And I also have one kidney. So I had a kidney removed when I was younger because it wasn't functioning properly. Since then, I'm healthy. I don't have any, health issues. I do see a nephrologist every about 6 months, and I have lab work done just to make sure my one kidney is functioning and my levels are normal. But I did ask my nephrologist about gaining muscle, and I told him I was eating 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. And he said, absolutely not. That's way too much protein for you. You should be eating 1 gram of protein per kilogram of body weight, which would be like 52 grams, which is like nothing. I didn't really like that answer. So I decided to ask another nephrologist and get a second opinion. That nephrologist basically said the same thing because I have one kidney compensating for 2. It's working harder. And the kidneys do work harder to process protein. He did say that I eat 70 grams of protein a day, which gives me a little bit more wiggle room, but it just still doesn't seem like a lot of protein. So I don't really know what I should be eating.
Yeah, no, that's a really, really good question. Kind of tough situation. So
it's also the right advice.
Yeah, number one, I mean, okay, these are experts in kidney health. So I would definitely take their advice. But here's some good news for you, okay? Although high protein diets have been shown in studies to be more effective at building muscle, you can build plenty of muscle on a lower protein diet. There are plenty of vegan and vegetarian bodybuilders that eat far less protein than other bodybuilders and do totally fine. What's the difference in muscle between the two groups? Probably not as much as you think. I don't think you're missing out too much. I think the key is to be as healthy as possible. Here's what I would do if I was in your situation. I would listen to the doctor, but then I would say this. I'd say, look, would you mind if I experimented with eating more protein, and then could I get my labs done every few months just to see how things change, if anything changes? Because
I did say that to him.
Okay.
And he said, yeah, your levels are going to look fine now, but it might affect you when you're older.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, I would listen to what he says. But here's the deal. Carbohydrates are protein sparing. So you're going to eat carbohydrates. I'm sure that's totally fine. Calorie surplus is more important to build muscle, especially if you're eating your essential amounts of protein. I would make sure that the protein that you are consuming is of the highest quality. This is when the type of protein matters. When you're eating a high protein diet, you always hear people say egg protein is superior, whey protein is superior, animal protein versus vegan protein. Doesn't matter if you eat a high protein diet, but when the protein is lower, that's when you see a difference. So what you could do is you could eat the most high quality, highest in branched chain amino acid type proteins, which would be whey, animal protein, egg. That's where you're going to get the best bang for your buck.
Grass-fed beef.
Yeah. Other than that, I would definitely listen to the doctor because a few pounds of muscle. Obviously, I don't have to tell you this. Wouldn't be worth, because if your kidneys started to reduce its function as you got older, then they really have to restrict, and then it gets really hard.
Are you following any of the MAPS programs?
Yeah. So right now I'm on MAPS Anabolic. This is my second time doing that program. And before that, I did MAPS Split and MAPS Aesthetic.
Have you done anabolic on a calorie surplus, or have you been dieting or on maintenance? How are you eating on those?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always hungry when I'm on the programs.
That's a good sign.
But when I was tracking my food, it was to make sure I was eating enough protein. So now I'm not really tracking. I'm just kind of eating when I'm hungry. Because again, I didn't know what I should be eating.
Yeah. Now you're able to go to 70 grams according to the doctor.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And are you? Is that easy for you to do through food?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'd stick to animal sources, high quality, and okay, this is the truth now. Yes, a high protein diet has been shown in studies to be, better than a lower protein diet for building muscle, but it's actually overstated. It really is. It's not as big of a deal as people think. I've worked with plenty of clients who could not eat a gram of protein per pound of body weight because it made them constipated or bloated, or they had negative digestive issues. We brought the protein down and they built more muscle because it made them healthier. So this you got to look at the individual. I mean, I know studies show generally what happens with people, but on an individual basis, like I've worked with vegans who just felt so much better eating plant-based. I could put them on an animal-based diet, and studies say that that's better for building. For them, it would have been worse. So worry about you as an individual. And I know those studies show certain things, but those are general, and you're an individual and you have individual needs. Focus on that. That'll be your best guide.
Lindsay, are you in our forum?
No.
We'll send that over to you. I'd love you to get in the forum and then actually just stay in contact with us and start tracking your food. Get yourself in a calorie surplus. I mean, the goal here is to gain 10 pounds of lean mass. I think you can do that on that protein intake, just being consistent with being in a caloric surplus and run some good programs. So I think those two things, I think you're going to be surprised. You're going to be okay. Now,
are you limited also? Like you can't, I'm assuming they told you can't supplement creatine. Have you asked?
I did. I even asked if I could do like small doses. They said absolutely not. No protein supplements.
That's what I figured. Okay, no problem. Not a big deal. Yeah. If you're eating red meat, you're going to get adequate amounts of creatine in your diet from that as well. But yeah, don't worry about what you can't do. Focus on what you can, and optimizing your individual body is always going to be best. Always. And again, I've worked with many clients who had negative results or negative symptoms from eating a high protein diet. It just didn't work for them, and so we brought it down, and they did much better.
That's great.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks for calling in.
And I just wanted to say real quick, my boyfriend and I are huge fans. He introduced me to your podcast, and I've been listening to you guys ever since we started dating. We really appreciate everything you do for the fitness community.
Oh, thank you, Lindsay. I
Marry that guy.
Thank you. He's the one.
Yeah.
He needs to get me a ring.
Okay. All right. Uh-oh. Send him our way. We'll talk to him.
Send him this podcast.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's tough. This is the bane of studies.
Yes.
Is that studies will show a general result. That's true, right? Mm-hmm. There's a true general result. But sometimes we get so stuck on that we forget that we are individuals. And if it doesn't work for us, well, then it just doesn't work for us. And this has happened to me before, where I've read studies on a supplement, and this supplement's supposed to work, and oh my God, it's supposed to be great. And then I take it and it just affects me negatively, and I stubbornly stick to it because the study says so. It's like, it doesn't work that way.
We think you're missing out, but really, like, the point is to get as healthy as possible, and then your body will respond appropriately. And yeah, so the thing is, you want a different answer, right? Because you see that study and you're like, well, I could still kind of pull this off, but that's really not your path. You have a different path.
Well, especially if you're reading stuff in the fitness community, because everything around, building muscle in our community is protein. Oh, yeah. 1.5 grams. And we're always talking about eating more of it. So, and actually 70-something grams is not bad for a female at all.
No.
Yeah.
And I think I couldn't see her from here really well, but she didn't look like she was that. I mean, from this angle, she didn't look like she was a big girl. She looked like a smaller girl.
Yep.
So 70-something grams is not.
She's fine.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. I had many clients that when I started tracking their protein, they were like 20, 30 grams a day. Yep. And we doubled it to 60, 70.
And they did great.
They did great. Built all kinds of muscles. So I think she'll be just fine.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.